Welcome to part 2 of the Udvardi children. As a reminder, the cases I cover are wild, topics may be triggering, viewer and listener discretion is advised. The people mentioned are innocent until proven guilty in court. The Udvardi children's teachers said that they seemed normal and not fragile or sick, as Leslie was so determined they were to be. Loma Linda Academy's psychologist recalled in September of 2005 when Leslie called very concerned about Abram's dyslexia, although tests showed he excelled in reading. Loma Linda Academy school nurse Mary Herman had long suspected the Udvardi children were victims of Munchausen by proxy at the hands of their mother. Nurse Herman also believed that Leslie was attempting to garner attention as an excuse to continue staying home and not re-enter the workforce. The pediatric neurologists at Loma Linda Medical Center did not believe Esther had Chiari malformation. Dr. Sheridan Matney reported that there were some examples of genuine illness pertaining to Esther, but that almost since birth, exaggerations and fabrications began. Dr. Meridian Matney also reported that the children were all basically healthy and were subjected to many unnecessary and often painful medical procedures, tests, and treatments. Esther and Abram went to one foster home while Matthew and Sam went to another. I can't imagine the pain those babies must have felt in strangers' homes, in their bunk beds. One article said one foster home only spoke Spanish, so on top of being taken from their home and their safe space, they were exposed to a language in a strange home that they didn't understand. Hospitals soon started to suspect something deeper was going on after Abram threw up after being left alone in a room with her. They tested to see if he had been given the drug Ipecac, which induces vomiting. The results showed Abram had been given an antihistamine he had been prescribed for allergies. On another occasion, the boys were tested for opiates and amphetamines. They were not able to find anything like that in their system. Esther's pediatrician, Dr. Edward Elmendorf, told authorities he thought Leslie was rubbing soap suds in her private areas, causing an abnormal vaginal discharge. Detectives were also able to confirm from doctors that the children did have real disorders like reflux, seizures, and asthma, and all other symptoms the mother had been claiming they had seemed, and I quote, vague and overblown, unquote. At the first court hearing in the case, the judge allowed the children back in their home under the condition that Leslie move out of the home. She complied and went to live with a friend, and for 5 months she only saw her kids once a week for 2 hours under the supervision of a social worker. Kirk and Leslie hired separate lawyers to help them. Even Leslie's own brother and sister came out to say that they were suspicious of the allegation that she had Munchausen by proxy. Leslie told the LA Times, and I quote, "I can be a little obsessive, hyper-focused. On the surface, I look like a Munchausen's mom. I went on the internet and read it and saw it and said, well, that could be me, but it wasn't," unquote. In January of 2006, Leslie sent a cry for help email to Dr. Claire Francomano, a genetics professor at Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine. In June of 2006, the family court hearing was held where the judge dropped the Munchausen allegation only because the Department of Child Services failed to prove Leslie was purposely making her children sick. The allegations that stuck were that Leslie was falsely reporting medical conditions in search of needless treatments. The allegation that Kirk faced was his failure to protect his children from their own mother. Judge David Cohn opined that Leslie had the propensity to, and I quote, take a seed of worry and grow it into a massive tree. We are here today because everybody who has looked at this case is scared to death about what's going to happen to Esther at the Chiari Institute in New York. Screws inserted into the child's skull and the child basically suspended with a series of weights. It sounds like something devised by Thomas Torquemada of the Spanish Inquisition, unquote. Ultimately, Judge Cohn believed the Udvardi children were honest. The Udvardi family was honest, forthright, and believable, adding that Leslie does not want to harm her children, and ruled as follows. The evidence does not support a finding that these are severely damaged children, let alone a finding that their parents caused it. The Udvardis later received a letter from Loma Linda's lawyer that ended with, I am deeply sorry for the ordeal you and your family have undergone. The insurance company sent the Udvardis a letter saying that Loma Linda no longer wished to treat any of the members of the Udvardi family due to, and I quote, reports of repeated noncompliance and disruptive behavior, unquote. In March of 2007, geneticists at the UC Irvine Medical Center diagnosed all of the Udvardi children with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a medical condition that affects your joints, and also had been diagnosed with Chiari malformation, which is a medical condition that affects your brain and spine. The legal battle left the Udvardis with $151,000 in debt and a bad reputation. Leslie told the LA Times that she feels that when people see her, they whisper every time she walks into a room. Leslie and Kirk wanted to sue the people who believed that ruined their reputation, but their lawyers advise against it because of state laws that provide immunity to professionals who report their suspicions of child abuse, whether these claims turn out to be true or not. It is because of this that they seek to move legislation in a way those immunities are taken away or changed. Later reports indicate Leslie returned to the workforce outside of the home as a math tutor. We've reached the end of today's episode on the Udvardi family. If you'd like a copy of my notes or references, feel free to hit me up at yayareahousewife@gmail.com. Thank you for coming down the rabbit hole where I currently live. As always, I accept and respect your opinions. I'll see you in the next episode. Adios.